Hey, what's going on, world? It's GotMix.net. You're now tuning into the Mix Report. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors.
Live from Houston, Texas. Got Mix News presents The Mix Report, the podcast where you can stay in the mix with sports and entertainment news.
What's going on, world? We got Isaiah Chambers, path to the draft. This young man definitely has a unique story. Mr. Chambers, man, first of all, welcome to the Mix Report. Man, you have a just very unique story out of Houston, Texas. For those that don't know, you got a lot of young people. They see where you're at now, but they don't know the journey, the process it took for you to get to where you're at now. Talk a little bit about that, man. How'd you get to this stage in your career, path to the NFL draft, getting an opportunity to become a participant in the National Football League?
I pretty much just worked. Tried to work harder than anybody else. I had a lot of stuff happen to me, as everybody does, but I just kept working and kept grinding and never gave up. I knew what I wanted, so I'm still achieving that right now.
Man, that's awesome, man. You're huge. I got an opportunity to see you academically. You're really serious about your academics. You're one of the top prospects that I know, just as far as academically. Where does that stem from, and why is your academics so important to you?
I guess just growing up, your parents always tell you how education is important, and football is going to end someday for all of us, all athletes, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, or whether you play 10, 12-year career. Like, one day football is going to end, and when you're the end, you still may be a little bit young, so you have to go get a job and have to work. So it's very important to get your education, get a degree, so you could show the importance of the degree to your kids and just set a tone for your family and your kids.
And you had a huge season at McNeese, but in the process, talk about some of those them hurdles that you had to overcome. I heard it was a storm out there that you had to overcome. They had COVID, all these different obstacles that were just in your way, but you just kept jumping over those hurdles. Talk a little bit about, were you just sitting down and the storm happened? Were you playing video games? Take us to that journey on what happened.
I actually went to Houston to drop off my girlfriend, drop off at her dorm. And I came back while I was there, and my landlord called me. We knew it was going to be a hurricane, but, sometimes being from the South, you don't take those things serious because it's always a hurricane. You feel like once or twice a year. So I didn't really take it serious, just went back home. And then my landlord called me, and I'm like, man, my landlord never called me. He called me, he's like, man, your house is gone. Pretty much take anything, come grab anything you can, if you can. So I just rushed down there. Took pretty long to get there, 2 hours more than the normal time. It just looked like a disaster. It was crazy.
Wow, man. When you initially went back to it and you saw the damage that it did, what were your first thoughts? Like, what does a person put us in your shoes? Were you like, where's my TV? What's the first thing you look for?
I just really was shocked. Like, when he told me everything was gone, I wasn't thinking. I never seen a house up close that was just completely gone. So I'm like, man, like, where do I start now? Like, TV gone, clothes gone, shoes gone. I'm just like, man, what can I grab? Birth certificate, Social Security was gone, everything was gone. So it was just tough. I didn't know what to do.
Wow, man. Man, you did you, and then take us into that. So one hurdle after another, you had to face that. You had to start over from that standpoint. Then COVID-19 hit. You get a shortened season, which is a big year for you. What was your mindset going into that? Where you're like, man, we got a shortened season. We don't have a bunch of games. How did y'all deal with that?
It was a lot because I was coming from Houston. I was so anxious to play at McNeese. So just finding out our season was supposed to be spring, and when it was supposed to go to the spring, that probably the first time it ever happened like in football history. So I was kind of thinking that that wasn't even going to happen. So it was just a lot of mixed feelings, just anxious, just ready to play, just knowing you're not going to play, knowing that you're going to play later on, and just having doubt that it would be a spring season. So I was more just anxious. I was very ready to play, like just very ready.
Man, no, you definitely see that in your game with the passion that you play with. Fast forward into this season, man, you had a bananas type season. Man, you just looked like you were just playing like you were a man possessed, man, after the quarterback inspired your teammates. Man, talk about this season, man, how big it was for you and the accomplishments that you were able to obtain this season.
Yeah, this season was pretty big. I knew this was gonna be my last college football season. We didn't get the wins that we wanted to do. Our win conference like the team goals that we set out at the beginning of the season. But I tried to repeat again as All-American. I did that. I repeated again, consistent All-American with 10.5 sacks, I believe, 15 TFLs, and 6 forced fumbles. And I got Defensive Player of the Year again in my conference and first team as well. That was like my goals out of the season. I wanted to win the Buck Buchanan Award. Unfortunately, I fell short of that. I was a finalist, but I fell short of that. So my goal was just to repeat everything I did in the spring. The spring, I set the season pretty high. I finished fourth in the Buck Buchanan Award. That's the best defensive player in FCS. So I finished fourth last year. So my goal was like, man, I got to get to that number one spot. So I fell short of that. I pretty much did everything I did in my junior year, but it was definitely good to cap that off.
Man, having an awesome season was a just tremendous accomplishment. Talk a little bit about, you got an opportunity to play in the Hula Bowl. How did that come about, and how did you enjoy your? Did I say that right? Is it the Hula Bowl?
Yes, sir. The Hula Bowl.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, they reached out to me about halfway during the season or towards the end of the season, reaching out to me, telling me about the opportunity and all the scouts that was going to be in the game. It was a good showcase. Got to talk to a lot of scouts and play a lot of scouts and just showcase your ability. Me coming from FCS this last 2 years, get to go against some Power 5 tacos and get to show that what you're up to. Just show your ability. It was very fun. I loved it. I had fun.
Man, I got a chance to check out the clips. Man, you were dominating in one-on-ones. You're just putting on a clinic out there, man. And who would you say is the best offensive player on the line of scrimmage that you've ever faced?
Probably Jared Williams. He was a guy who played at Houston. He's at Miami now. That's probably the best offensive lineman I played.
Man, you got a lot of scouts, NFL teams out there. What do you want them to know about Isaiah Chambers? What kind of player would they be getting? And
I just want to let them know I'm a hardworking guy. I come to work every day. I disrupt the field. I disrupt the plays. I could get consistent pressure and even sacks on the quarterback. I have 28 career sacks, 10 career sacks in 14 games at the FBS level, and 18 sacks and 18 games at the FCS level, which I think is not a lot of people can do. Get a sack a game. I don't care what level you're at, people can't do it. And I just think if you want somebody to go get the quarterback, I think I'm your guy.
Man, that's awesome. What do you do in your spare time? What do you like to do in your spare time?
I really just like to walk my dog, explore a little bit. I like to travel sometimes. I like to just get outside. I don't really play the game. I don't have a game system at all. So I don't play the game. I just like to get out and just do something, explore, to be honest.
Man, so you're outdoorsman. Do you fish at all?
No, sir, I don't fish. I want to learn how to fish, but I just like being around water. Sometimes I could just go to water and just sit around it.
What about bowling? Are you a bowler at all?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm a pretty good bowler.
So game day. What's in your headset? Who you listening to? How do you get ready for a game?
Game day, I'm kind of different. I don't really like to listen to a lot of hoorah, like loud music, because as you know, like before while you have your headphones on, before you actually get out to the field, you warm up about 40, 50 minutes before the game. I don't know if many people know this about football or college football. You warm up about 50 minutes, maybe an hour before the game. So like you have a lot of time to be hyped up. So I just listen to anything, sometimes soft. I listen to some gospel sometimes, some soft music, more R&B, because you don't want to be hyped up for 2 hours essentially, because you still got another hour to warm up and listen to that music. So I typically just have some soothing, calm you down, because you don't want to be hyped up the whole 2 hours, burning energy.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah. Do you feel like team meal is a big part? Just coming from high school, what was your transition like with your regiment from some of those guys that you're coming from high school, being one of the best guys at your high school and then going to college? What is that transition like for a young guy, and how did you handle that transition from going, because now you're going to be going from college to the pros? How would you say that transition going from high school to college was for you?
Transition was kind of hard. I didn't realize how time consuming it was in college. So that's what my advice to the young guys is: just get ready to sleep, breathe, eat football pretty much when you get to college, and take it as almost like a job. You're there to go to school, of course. Take your education serious, because somebody's paying for your education. So that wouldn't be wise of you to go there and go to school 4 years and they get to use you as a football player. You don't get a degree out of them. So use it vice versa. Get your degree, play football. As I did, it was very hard. It was challenging, just adjusting to stuff like that, learning how to eat right. Getting your protein and your carbs and your veggies. Like I had to learn how to do all that. Can't just eat fast food all the time, because you're a grown man now. So like, yeah, it's a slight adjustment, but after that first year of just learning and watching older guys and getting somebody wise, you'll learn and catch on pretty fast.
Man, that's awesome. What are you eating? What's your favorite dish? What's your favorite food?
My friends always joke with me about this. I like salmon. Salmon, if I'm pronouncing it correct. I love to get some salmon in with some type of rice or pasta with it, and then mix it in with some broccoli. So I like to get my protein and my carbs and then my veggies. I always gotta have that. So that's my perfect plate right there.
Man, that's awesome. State your name for the camera.
Isaiah Chambers.
College you attend?
McNeese State.
And let them know I just got mixed.
And I just got mixed. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, man.